So we've got some more good news when it comes to the gas that is Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition. I've been playing the heck out of the game. I actually played it till 2 a.m., something that I haven't done for any game in quite some time, probably since Metaphor Refantasio. So I've been playing a ton of it and I'm really enjoying it, but it looks like a lot of you guys are enjoying it out there, and that's resulting in people going out there and picking the game up. Now, in the UK, we've got the most recent software sales, and it looks like Assassin's Creed Shadows and Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition are off to strong starts, with the UK sales ending in March 22nd, 2025. This does not include digital for the Nintendo Switch, and I think that it's really just mainly physical software charts overall, with some titles being digital. It's kind of weird how they do it, but I know for a fact Nintendo does not give them digital sales. But Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition still was able to climb up to number 2 on the board in its debut week. So that's definitely a good thing to see. Also great to see Assassin's Creed Shadows. I think Astrobot got that new bundle as well, so it was in there. I'll have the top 10 or so on the screen for you guys, but this is definitely something good to see overall. The UK has never been one of Nintendo's strongest areas. There's many different areas that Nintendo has when it comes to Europe overall. I know that France has been really strong for Nintendo in the past, Spain and things like that. Usually more PlayStation with the UK, but this generation with the Nintendo Switch, it's actually been pretty good for Nintendo. They had a significant boost over what you saw when it comes to game sales with the Nintendo 3DS and the Wii U, and even to a degree the Wii, actually better than the Wii. This is probably the best that Nintendo's ever done in the UK overall. It's the best they've ever done, I mean, for the most part, in lots of places. So it's very good to see that a game like Xenoblade Chronicles X, this is a hardcore RPG with a lot of mechanics and a lot of stuff happening. It's a Wii U game, but the good thing about it is that so many people never got a chance to play Xenoblade Chronicles X, and it does kind of give a different type of aura and vibe when you see the marketing, when you see the different scales and how you go about the business and the open world and everything, how you get around. It's just really cool to see that Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition is being enjoyed by a larger amount of people because of the base. I do feel that Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition might have already gotten close to outselling Xenoblade Chronicles X on the Wii U. I do think that is possible just because of how many more people have the system. You gotta remember, guys, Xenoblade Chronicles X, when it launched on the Wii U in 2015, late 2015, there was barely anybody even playing games on the Wii U compared to what you see normally for PlayStation and even for Xbox overall. When it comes to Nintendo systems, people were still playing Nintendo 3DS. That was still popular at the time, but nobody was really playing Wii U. Nobody was really buying Wii U, and pretty much Nintendo had already moved on. They announced the NX, which was the code name for the Nintendo Switch, well before Xenoblade Chronicles X even launched in the West. So we got that announcement. They kind of teased it a little bit more throughout that year. So people had already moved on and were anticipating the next thing when it comes to Nintendo. So that was a blow. All the games that came out in that later 2015 and 2016, that was pretty much a blow to all of those games. And I think that Xenoblade felt it the most, despite Xenoblade being one of the first major titles that was shown off to come to the Nintendo Wii U system. It just took a lot longer to get there than maybe some people would have liked. I know myself, when they first showed it off in 2013, I was hoping like 2014 for the game, but yeah, we had to wait until 2015. But overall, man, this is just so good to see Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition getting the shine that it deserves. It is a phenomenal game, and it is so much fun to play. And like I stated, I am playing through the game myself. I'm trying to play in any little bit of free time that I have when I'm not taking care of my family or when I'm not working here or streaming. So I'm going to do my best to get you guys a big 100-hour review plus when I'm done with the game and when I'm confident to talk about what makes the game so good overall, capture the footage, all of that good stuff. But what else is so good overall is all of the people that are not subscribed, that are going to subscribe to the channel because you enjoy the great content that we're doing here. So go ahead and please hit that subscribe button if you are not subscribed yet. Hit that like and click that notification bell to get my vids as soon as they drop. Now let's go ahead and jump into the next major thing here. We've got some big Nintendo Switch 1 and Nintendo Switch 2 rumors. It looks like there's going to be a lot of stuff happening soon here. Now, we talked about this before back in February when there was rumors of a Nintendo Direct for the Nintendo Switch 1 and the final Direct. That never came to be. Never happened at all. But there are now more rumors that a Nintendo Switch 1 focused direct is going to be happening sometime soon, this seems almost like no way, because the Nintendo Switch 2 Direct is essentially next week, April 2nd, and there will be a big, massive Nintendo Switch 2 Direct that's going to give us all the deets on the Nintendo Switch 2 that's going to be launching this year. And we have more stuff that we got to talk about there, because there's new information that's coming out with the Nintendo Switch 2 that we'll get to in just a bit, so make sure you stick around. But let's talk about this Nintendo Switch 1 Direct. So originally, Nate the Hate did state that there could be a Nintendo Switch 1 Direct that was the last hurrah for the Nintendo Switch. So maybe games like Metroid Prime 4, games like Pokemon Legends ZA, the rumored Fire Emblem 4 remake, Metroid Prime 2, Metroid Prime 3, The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess, Wind Waker HD. A lot of these games could be announced or could be shown again at this event. Now, that never came to be overall, and Nate has went silent on potentially getting anything else, but now we have some updates, not from Nate the Hate, but from some other people. Shout outs to GoNintendo for this one, and saying that there are 3 separate sources that are hinting at a Switch 1 Nintendo Direct this week. First, we have the Weibo user known for leaking inside info, and they're claiming a Direct is coming on March 26th. That's 2 days from now, that's Wednesday. Along with that is the user Nin Spider on Family Boards, and they've been saying a presentation of some sort is coming this month as well. Nin Spider had previously leaked the Switch 2 dock design, magnetic Joy-Con, and more. So I remember that we covered it, and many people thought it was fake, but it actually ended up being completely real with that guy. So he is the person who did that. Now last, we have journalist Andy Robinson, which he runs VGC Fantastic website, who has responded with a like thinking emoji on a post which was Stealth 40K's post, stating that Nintendo made the right call to not have any more Switch Directs before the big Switch 2 presentation. Robinson could be questioning if that is indeed the right call, or their emoji reaction could be hinting that Nintendo is indeed cooking up a Switch 1 Direct for this week. So man, this is just nuts in my opinion when it comes to this news that we could potentially get this. Now, once again, we did this before in February and it ended up not happening, right? There was the PH Brazil. He put out there that, hey, look, I've heard of Nintendo Direct. It's happening February, and nothing happened. This could be the same thing, although now there are multiple sources here saying, well, wait a minute, hold up, not so fast. Now, plans could have changed. Maybe something else could have happened, but they're talking about, hey, there's going to be a Direct this week and it's going to be Wednesday. They must feel pretty confident about that, or have at least seen the proof or evidence that it's for sure locked in. But once again, we got to take it with a grain of salt until we actually get a confirmation or something like that, or at least something leaks. But nothing's really leaked at this point outside of them just saying, hey, look, I've heard this. So we'll find out very soon, because there's not many days left in March. And Nintendo's Nintendo Switch 2 Direct is next week. It's next Wednesday. So if they did a Direct for Switch 1 this Wednesday and then did another Direct again, oh my gosh, Nintendo fans, we would be eating incredibly good if that's the case, because that would be awesome for me. I'll have streams, we can talk about it. There'll be a bunch of games announced when it comes to all the stuff that I just discussed that still needs to come out, and those games will be playable on the Nintendo Switch 2. And then boom, next week we get hit with another one when it comes to Nintendo Switch 2. So that would be awesome to me. I would think that would be great. So I would love for that to be the case, but we'll see if that actually happens. I don't know what's going to happen here, guys, but let's go and move on to the next topic here, guys. It is some information on dev kits and who actually got those dev kits and what's going to be happening there. So while there have been some developers here and there who have announced Nintendo Switch 2 games, by and large, we don't really know what's coming to the platform yet. Obviously, Nintendo has their presentation next week. That will no doubt change, but Family Boards user The Godsend said that they talked with numerous developers at this year's Game Developers Conference. Their anecdotal evidence pointed to Nintendo targeting AAA companies and former partners who've made Nintendo exclusives for Switch 2 dev kits. So it does seem like they're implying that the heavy hitters have dev kits, and Nintendo really focused on those guys so they can get their big AAA titles out there. And of course, these smaller devs who have made impactful Nintendo Switch exclusives or Nintendo exclusives in the past. So this is something that's not necessarily a huge deal because Nintendo's done this multiple times before. I think that they did this with the Nintendo Switch 1 as well, and I do think that, yeah, they're probably going to do it again. Now, based off of the leaks that we've gotten, there's big titles from Rockstar coming, big titles from Bandai Namco, Square Enix. It seems like almost essentially everybody that makes AAA games, most people are going to have a dev kit or already have a dev kit and are planning something for the Nintendo Switch 2. And you have to say the difference in between the Switch 1 and the Switch 2 is that back then with the Switch 1, while they might have got a dev kit and maybe had something planned, a lot of them were being very skeptical about it. Oh, well, we'll wait and see, or we're not really sure, or sure, we'd like to do something, but we're going to wait to see how the sales pan out. But I think this time that's not going to be the case because Nintendo has shown far more success in addition to confidence in the platform and the brand, going from Switch 1 to Switch 2 to where there's really no confusion at all. There's a 2 and there is just no 2, so you know which one is which and what is happening when it comes to the sales and what is happening when it comes to the games and how they've organized this launch. So I think that that has instilled so much more confidence in developers to actually use that dev kit right away. Whenever they got it, use that dev kit, whereas last time, I'm not sure if they used those dev kits right away, or they maybe said, hey, let's just put something smaller, let's put something different, or maybe a 360 port or something like that. But now they're thinking, okay, let's actually use this dev kit at this time and make sure that we got something ready for the launch, or maybe we got something ready for the first number of months of the system, or at least in the next year or two. So I do think that is going to be an awesome thing. And I feel that there's a lot of developers that probably think that, hey, look, we can be confident in making a Switch 2 exclusive. If we're not the biggest AAA developer, we can make a Switch 2 exclusive because of our good success with Switch 1, and people will come back. People that bought the game on Switch 1 will come back and potentially buy the game on Switch 2 once the base gets there and everything. So I do feel that this is definitely a good thing overall. Developers, when it comes to AAA and all that, people who've made exclusives, they're going to get the priority with the dev kits. So good to see that at least there's some more information on that as we gear up for the launch of the Nintendo Switch 2 this year. But now we're going to move on to kind of more just stuff when it comes to Switch 2, and we're going to be talking about what Tom Warren said about 2025 and how there's going to be a lot more Xbox games appearing on both the PlayStation 5 and the Nintendo Switch 2. This is something that we kind of already knew and we covered before. Tom Warren, though, The Verge, he actually is pretty good when it comes to Microsoft stuff. When it comes to Nintendo stuff and all that, like, he said some things that's not necessarily, like, accurate when it comes down to it, but when it comes to reporting on Microsoft stuff happening, he's pretty good with that. So Tom Warren from The Verge is reporting that Microsoft plans plenty more Xbox first-party games to appear on PS5 and the Nintendo Switch 2. This information comes from Microsoft recently announcing that Indiana Jones and the Great Circle will be available on the PlayStation 5 on April 15th. Now, Microsoft has not talked too much about what they're doing for the Nintendo Switch 2, but Phil Spencer has already stated that, yeah, they like the Nintendo Switch 2. They're used to developing when it comes to having profiles on like Steam Deck and Xbox Series S and the Nintendo Switch 2, so they're on board with it. He's shown excitement for the platform, so Phil Spencer has pretty much already stated that, yeah, there will be more games coming. So here's what Tom Warren had to say specifically when it comes to what's happening with Xbox and moving forward with games coming to the Nintendo Switch and PlayStation 5. Indiana Jones and the Great Circle's release on PS5 is part of a broader effort from Microsoft to bring more Xbox games to rival platforms. Microsoft first started launching previous Xbox exclusives like Hi-Fi Rush, Pentiment, Sea of Thieves, and Grounded on PS5 last year, and 2025 will include a lot more titles appearing on both PlayStation 5 and the Nintendo Switch 2. Also, there was Pentiment and Grounded. Those came out on the Nintendo Switch 1 as well, and it's rumored that Hi-Fi Rush and Sea of Thieves will come to the Nintendo Switch 2, so that'll round out those number of games that didn't come to the Nintendo Switch 1 but came to the PS5 when it comes to rival platforms. But yeah, this is something that we know is going to happen. There's going to be more of the Xbox games coming over, and me, I'm kind of like old school, right? Like, I think you guys know that. I grew up playing with like Halo 1 and the exclusives and the Xbox 360 and its exclusives that it had, like Lost Odyssey and different types of games that Microsoft did. And I get it, Microsoft, they're in a little bit of a different boat, right? Because of their acquisitions, because of the bad console sales, they're really not in a position to only exclusively release games on Xbox and PC. But I just feel that there is something a little bit missing when you don't have Microsoft kind of going out there with their exclusives and everything, just like Sony has with their exclusives and just like Nintendo has with theirs. But hey, it's a new day, it's a new era, I guess at this point, really nothing that we can do. And after all of those acquisitions that they had, buying stuff for billions of dollars, I mean, this was pretty much the only result in terms of allowing them to continue on, because there was no way that they're going to catch up with console sales even after all these acquisitions. I think that they hope that they could, but they don't have the leash to do that. They don't have the time to do that. They got to get stuff done now and make tons of money now. And obviously only releasing on Xbox and only releasing on PC isn't going to get it done. So it is what it is there. But what are you guys' thoughts on everything here that we talked about, from the Nintendo Switch 1 rumored directs, Xenoblade Chronicles X, also what's happening with Xbox, and more games on Switch 2 and PlayStation? Let me know in the comment section below. All right, guys, that wraps it up for this video here. Thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate it. Please make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you're someone new, click that notification bell, and check out my other Nintendo Switch RPG videos and more right here on screen. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll catch you guys for the next one. Peace.